Is this our background?
Oh my goodness, where's our frame? Hi, people.
I'm like, is this the
What
background we're going with
happened?
today?
Oh no, we're just a boring little background, it seems.
Wow. Crazy. The
Yikes.
stock background. Just Fightful. We're
Man.
here. We're on the show.
No, we've got design. Here's the thing, okay? Maybe a boring background would work for normal people, but that's not us because we have a man of screen, a man of sound, a man of video games in the house. We've got Righteous Reg here. Congratulations, my man.
Thank you so much. Just every time I see a clip of this video game and my songs playing in the background, I'm like, what is this? This isn't like someone didn't make this. This is like what you'll actually hear in the video game. It's really awesome. Can't wait for the game to drop so I can play it and hear the song myself. But everybody that's been playing it and posting it, super dope. Y'all are cool. This is amazing.
It was just so awesome. And I don't know why, because I knew it was coming. Like you had hinted about it. You had dropped hints there and there. But it was so cool to hear it like actualized. And I think the place it is in the game is such like a fun ambiance adder.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
cool.
It's
Congratulations.
Thank
well,
you.
guys, please send in your super chats and your humper chat so I can afford a background that that we're able to use all the time. Get your question or statement read on air by doing that. We've got a lot to talk about with this episode of Ring of Honor. It was a long one. My second marathon. Okay, this one was not my first rodeo, but this was your first mega episode. This was not we're playing Samoa Joe in an old main event to fill time episode. But overall thoughts tonight. It was a loaded card, but I felt like it moved pretty well considering.
Yeah, it was pretty consistent like throughout. They weaved the really good matches throughout it, and they ended on a really high note. So I think that like made everything better. At the end of it, I was like, damn, that was a great match, instead of being like, damn, that was a lot of matches, you know?
Yes, yeah. And I will say 13 still better than 19 in that regard, but
True.
a long episode for those of you who might have been looking for the Impact post show because we're going on so close in time. They got booted to Fightful Overbooked again, unfortunately.
You're out of here.
I hate to big time them, but I'd also love to big time them. So I'm seeing Joel this weekend at Forbidden Door. I can razz him about that.
Y'all are doing something special out there together this weekend, I heard. I saw some tweets about.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the segue. But we're going to do a live episode. Normally we do Kate and Joel call it in the ring on Overbooked on Sundays, but we get to do it live. He found a studio that's super close to the venue, so I'm really looking forward to doing a show in between Girls Next Door, which is an all women's card very, very close to the arena, which is how I got the name Girls Next Door. So we're gonna hit that up during the day. We're gonna do our podcast episode and head over to the venue at night. So I haven't done a live episode before. I'm very, very excited.
Awesome.
It should be fun.
Yeah. That's gonna be fun.
So let's dive into some Ring of Honor, guys. We will also ask if you could leave a thumbs up on this video. You have no idea how that helps the algorithm for us. And we'll also remind you to subscribe to Fightful Select because there is news on its way, my friends. We've got Forbidden Door. We've got Money in the Bank coming up. We've got contract news on the horizon.
Always.
Some notes about Jeff Hardy and some things that you can catch up on with Mr. Jeff Hardy over there that got posted last night. But we've got a lot to talk about in Ring of Honor world, so let's dive into it. This show opens up with kiss-ass Stokely Hathaway and Tony Khan presenting Samoa Joe with a new belt. Joe is closing in on becoming the longest reigning TV champion, so they are turning that belt lineage over. Thought the segment was fun because Stokely just wants to step on everyone's toes here. I thought that was a nice touch, but I don't know about the belt. Does it feel like a damn braid?
Yeah, I agree. Feels like they're trying to make all the belts be the same, and I don't know if I'm really that big of a fan of them. But I see. I don't know.
It's cool that they're at least acknowledging it because it is cool that Samoa Joe has had this reign. And I'm thinking it's probably going to come to an end soon with Collision being up and running. Like
I think so.
can't see them yet. Kind of splitting duty, but they are taping together, so maybe
might see them more at this point. I don't know. Who knows?
It's true. It's true. There's a lot of possibilities floating around out there, which are all pretty fun, if you ask me. Ricardo with no surname asks, "Wait, aren't we buying you a bed, Kate?" You are. You are buying me a new bed. I actually am going to order it later tonight. I desperately need one. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. But yeah, get in those super chats and humper chats. We'll talk about whatever you want. But we're gonna start with a Reg-made match. He didn't make this match, but if he could make any match in the world, it might just be this one. We get Vikingo, Komander, and the Lucha Brothers not defending their tag team championships.
Yes.
With this amalgamation of fellows of Serpentico, Kip Sabian, Butcher, and Blade with Penelope Ford.
Yep.
At ringside as well. This was, of course, just like as bonkers as you want it to be. This is Spot Fu at its finest with some of the best luchadors in the game. I also appreciated fun stuff like the quadruple super kick spot. I thought was super, super fun. But ultimately we get Vikingo and Phoenix hitting a dive to the floor, leaving Penta to hit a package pile driver on Serpentico to get the win. You are the king of Spot Fu. What were your thoughts on this really fun opener?
First of all, I want the team that was a team of the Lucha Bros and Vikingo and Komander to wrestle each other. Can we break this off next week? And those four guys go against each other? Because yes, that will be amazing. Seeing these guys together, they've had a couple matches together. I think now here in Ring of Honor as a 4-way team is like, well, all my favorite luchadors are together. I don't need anything else in the world. Thanks for this. Just Spot Fu, bonkers, everybody's everywhere. Komander's flying, Vikingo's doing wild shit. The guys on the other side, Kip Sabian's busting out stuff too himself. Everybody's getting their shit in. This is one of those, it's an 8-man tag. Everybody just go wild. Let's have a good time. And this was that perfect way to start the show after a couple of weeks of not starting the show the way I've wanted to. So let's go.
I think a symptom of the new taping schedule for sure, which I think is probably a good thing here. I liked that it started the show because it's so energizing. Like these matches are such a party to begin with. I thought it was fun. You're right. And this normally gets put in the like, we got to pick up the rest of the crowd spot, but
they've been here for 4 hours already. Let's see if we can bring them back.
See at 5.5 if we can bring them back into the show. And it also just like takes the pressure off of the match in that way because people want to be excited for it. They don't want to have to be like pulling out of the reserves to get amped for this match. But I thought this was a heck of a lot of fun. I do really want to see the tag team champions defend the tag belts though, man. Like I know we say it every week, but it's
like it's become a recurring joke on our podcast, but like for real though, we like really want to see you guys defend these championships. It's been so long. No one's even like, I'm next, like nothing. They're just like, and Penta and Phoenix are here and they're doing whatever they want besides defending these championships.
Yeah, I think we got a hint at it last week a little bit, but I do it is like now getting to the point where I think because they made such a big deal with the ladder match and this going from the Briscoes to them to not do anything and to have them defended twice in AEW just feels like a miss to me for sure. And also, I want to see the Lucha Brothers in tag action against a lot of these teams. Like, give me them versus the Infantry. Give me them versus the Kingdom. Give me them versus the Boys in a silly squash match. I don't care. Let me see my tag.
I guess the Kingdom have been like saying these are our championships, so.
Does feel like it's heading that way, and I think they deserve at least the title feud because they have been there week in, week out, very reliable, putting on great matches. So good stuff to open the show, but I feel like they could add a little bit more direction in their product. In the tag division. We'll move along to Gringo, Loco, and Willie Mack. Gringo, Loco getting the win here. This was a lot of fun. It kind of started off slow for me, but I liked it because it was like a chess match with them escaping the head scissor spots. But this ends with them trading blows before Willie Mack hits a shining wizard to put both of them down. Loco cut Mack off as he went to the top rope, and hit a double jump Spanish fly,
Mm-hmm.
win in the hometown, which is always fun. A nice little hometown pop here. No complaints about this match. It seems like they're building up a little bit of a feud. I don't know where it's going, but Gringo, Loco, and Willie Mack have been on the opposite sides of things for a little bit now. What are your thoughts on the match that we got tonight, and where do you think this might be headed?
Great way to follow up a spot food match with some more Righteous Reg spot food with Gringo Loco and Willie Mack. Big fan of both of these guys. Yeah, they did a lot of fun stuff. Gringo always brings like this just extra super duper creative wrestler type moveset that I love. And Willie Mack is just, as we always say, so charismatic. Anytime he does just like a big power move, like a sky high or a power bomb, you're like, damn, also he's really badass. But then he'll do a moonsault and you're like, oh yeah, he's everything. So these two guys together, I think, are a good thing. I think they might be continuing what they were starting with Willie Mack and Ninja Mack, because Ninja Mack isn't going to be around as much as Gringo is. They're like, okay, maybe what we were going to go with them, we'll go with Gringo. I think it's potentially could be where this is leading.
I don't hate that. I'm not mad about it. It does break up the pun that I know we were all looking forward to.
Yeah, we
the
wanted
return
it.
of the Mac. We did want it. We did want it. But I'll take it. This is perfectly fine. I'm just interested to see if this ends up leading to, somebody getting in contendership or something like it's
for something.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. It feels like the beginnings of a story are being laid. Ryan Sullivan, AEW Dark correspondent, saying, with these complaints about the show length, makes me think people are starting to miss Dark and Elevation. Ryan loved Dark like so much.
Fair enough.
Much. I liked it a lot too, but
yeah,
he was
fun.
like, it was his sweet spot. It got taken away from him too soon. He was not prepared. Broke his. It's
here,
heart.
Ryan. We're watching it all the time, every week on Ring of Honor. Like everything that was going to be over there, you see it over here. So I get it.
We are starting to see it over here. I would like a little bit more stakes, but I have a feeling we might be getting there soon. And Taylor Cannon just sending in some love, saying Kate and Reggie both rule. That's it. That's the super chat. Well,
thanks, Taylor.
Darn it! Thank you so much for the kind words. Could use kind words. I'm very tired.
Yeah. Long days. Back to back to back to back.
That's right. We will always take a compliment over here. So here's a match that I wanted to be longer. And on an episode that I wanted to be shorter. So we get Trish Adora defeating Allysin Kay, which I was very happy to see her here. I would like to see all of the Hex, selfishly. I like Marty Bell quite a bit.
Yes.
But I really liked the way that this ended. We get Kay avoiding the lariat Tubman and hitting a boot for a near fall, and then Adora rolled out of a powerbomb position and hit her with the Tubman again. Like that sequence was just really fun, and I liked. Yeah, and Trish Adora's kind of determination of like, okay, I didn't get it the first time, but I'm gonna get it right now, was really, really fun. This was great, man. Trish Adora was awesome already, but this New Japan training, we said it last week, seems to be kicking in already, man. This is so much fun. I love her. What did she have? A bridging out suplex? Yeah, the bridging out suplex in this match looked really, really great. Just everything feels very, just like an extra layer of confidence. The presentation is like so clicked in, but I want to see more of this. I want to see more Allysin Kay on my program. I wish this match was a little bit longer and we could have cut out maybe a couple of other things, but no complaints about what we did see. My complaints are about what we didn't see, and that's usually a healthier sign for things.
Definitely.
What did you think about what we got with Trish Adora and Allysin Kay?
I'm a big fan of Allysin Kay, and I agree with you. More of the Hex. I like the Hex so much. I want them to be a tag team somewhere. They should be on TV doing their thing. They're really great tag team, and it's a shame that they're not doing their thing. But second best thing to that we got right here is Allysin Kay, who is also credible singles wrestler herself. Trish, though, is just like unlocked some sort of different confidence. She's working different. She's working more strong style. You can see the New Japan influence with the suplexes, the way that she's throwing the lariat Tubman now, the way that she's just carrying herself is perfect. Trish Adora is going to be the one to dethrone Willow, I think, at this point. The way that she's being built up, the way that she's on her way, the way that it's in the New Japan dojo. Like, she's like, I'm figuring out exactly what it takes to take that championship. I'm here for that championship. And so I guess maybe it's a lot of me wanting that to happen just because of what's going on with Trish Adora, but like it's looking like that's the way that we are going. Great match. Allysin Kay, I'd love to see more of her. If she's going to be singles, like ramp it up too. Another contender for the women's championship that can always be a contender no matter what.
Agreed, and I like your booking of her dethroning Willow. Like I like the inside of the academy situation, right? Like that's a really fun, like, I'm gonna take you down from the inside is really cool. I like that idea. That's super fun. So I'm in on that. I had her dethroning Athena, but after tonight, I don't know if anybody dethrones Athena. I think she's just going to be champion forever, and I don't even think
it's yours, Athena. It's your belt. No one can take it
about it. This porcelain trash hussy. Praises. Yes. We're gonna get there. We got a whole lot of show to get to before that, including this really, I thought, a really fun match with Kyler, not our Kyler here at Fightful, Kyle Fletcher beating Silas Young. I loved commentary here. Commentary noting that this win would give Fletcher 3 straight wins over former ROH TV champions. Nice little wink and a nod there. I loved that from Ian Riccaboni, but a fun match. Fletcher using that hammerlock DDT. Commentary also pointing out that that seems to be a new finisher for him, which looks great. And DDT should finish matches if you are in this camp. But what I love about Kyle Fletcher is a lot of things. But one thing that stood out today is like his suplexes are so effortless, and he seems to be able to just throw them into sequences or like transitional moves with incredible ease. That half and half suplex was so well. He pops them out like they're nothing. What's funny is the other person that I remember seeing do this particularly well is Ricochet, and they have like super different styles, but I'm always so impressed by that ability to just like, oh, I'll just casually throw in a suplex here in motion with a lot of other things instead of setting up and making it feel like such a centerpiece. I had no problems with this match. I think Kyle Fletcher winning here is fun. We'll see what happens with Mark Davies coming back, hopefully sooner than later. But a little ROH program, a little TV title shot, Kyle Fletcher versus Samoa Joe, if that's where we're heading, doesn't make me mad. Doesn't make me mad one bit. So this was a whole heck of a lot of fun. What did you think?
If this is leading to we're getting a short program with him and Samoa Joe, or even just one match with him and Samoa Joe, I'm all in. Kyle Fletcher has been gaining confidence every single week. Every single week we've seen him on the Ring of Honor beating these former TV champions. It seems like every match you're like, man, he's even better than the last time we seen him. And that's usually how it is for these young people that are, so great at this. Every single week we see him improve because, being 24, that he's training every day. He's in the gym every day. He's trying to get better because he knows what's in the future for him. And it shows legit. Like, we were so bummed when Mark got injured that we're like, man, that kind of unfortunate. They probably would have been a part of Forbidden Door in a big match, having all these big things. But like, Kyle was like, well, I'm going to have some fun while I wait for my partner to come. And the fun he's been having has been showing every single week of Ring of Honor. And him getting chopped in his chest until it turns purple by Samoa Joe will just be like some icing on the cake. Bring it on. Silas Young too, man, though. He's, we'd love to see Ring of Honor staples on the show, people that are synonymous with the brand, and that could just come in and give up a hard-hitting match. And that's what Silas did here.
Yeah, a staple for such a young and upcoming talent, Silas Young. He's so great. He's such a good dance partner for
Silas Young.
Silas older now, am I right? Nailed it.
Got him.
But his maybe greatest in-ring strength is how great he looks, makes his opponents look while being so aggressive. Like that's not always easy to pull off. I think Miro's also one of the best at it.
He never looks like he looks like he's getting beat up, but it's never like he's out of the fight because he's such a mean badass.
Exactly. And IT Wizard, the other technical wizard, Chris Mueller. This isn't a super chat, but he does say, how is Kyle Fletcher 2 years younger than Dom Mysterio and 100 times better than him already?
Why Dom gotta catch a stray out here, man? What do he do to y'all?
I'm okay with it because he's not very good. But I will always point out the fact that Kyle Fletcher is only 24 years old because his presence and his abilities are far beyond that. But then you kind of look at him and you're like, oh yeah, you're 24. You look like a 24-year-old, but
he does look like a
walks
24-year-old.
on you. Yeah.
This time he comes out, he's all excited like a 24-year-old. Like, oh yeah, he is 24.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I was your age once, fella.
Young and spry and skipping to the ring.
Oh my gosh, I remember like I could like have energy past 10 p.m. It was amazing, but we've got a chat from Alive on Occasion who says, if there was supposed to be an Iwatani versus Storm match for Forbidden Door that fell through, or was it never on the table? I'm a big Willow fan, but I feel like there was a missed opportunity here. Match will still slap though. Thanks, much
was
love.
it who versus Tony?
Iwatani?
Oh.
So I don't know the answer to that, and if you do want an answer to that, I would recommend if you are a Fightful Select subscriber, Sean's Q&A thread, he'll probably get you an answer for that. And if you're not a Fightful Select subscriber, shame on you.
I'll just say the answer is no. That's not what the match was supposed to be. So yeah, look at that.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Red just coming in with scoops. Beautiful. I do know there were a couple of complications.
Just think, put together. Put them puzzles pieces together. You'll figure it out.
Okay. All right.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. There were some complications just on the general front, from what I understand, of Stardom, A, having a show on the same day, and B, there was a perceived visa issue where they thought you had to have a work visa in place and thought they'd run out of time for that. Turned out that wasn't the case, but I think it got a little bit late in being able to create the programming that they would have needed to because of the perceived issue. So just that's all I know. All I know is what Sean says. So go to Fightful.com and FightfulSelect.com. But this was a really, really fun match. I'm happy to see Kyle Fletcher kind of keeping the train rolling as his tag partner is out. But I very much look forward to the inevitable Aussie Open versus FTR match that will be so wonderful and delicious. I can't wait. But we move along to the Embassy being back on television. We love it when our champs come around. That's so great. And they defeat AJZ and
now I'm thinking
Curtis
though, with Mark being out and the Lucha Brothers not defending their championships, could Aussie Open have played a part in what was going on? Because I'm like, okay, these timelines. Because I'm thinking, what if Mark was here? What would have been going on? Would they have been being a tag team still? Like, what would they have been the next contenders for the Ring of Honor championships potentially? And that's why they're not saying anything about Penta and Phoenix potentially.
That's an interesting call. I mean, you could still have them beating people on the way, but I agree. Maybe that's why the story's not there. If it was gonna be 4 to 6 weeks, you could have done a Kingdom run or whatever. Like,
yeah,
you could have done something. You could have had them building up wins, but I love that them being ROH tag champs feels like a really natural fit, and it could be a fun title for title program with FTR or anybody else in the darn world.
Right.
Well played. You got your thinking cap on, your booking cap on today. I love it.
Just thinking.
But we move along to Khan demolishing people, as is the case with the Embassy. Khan hitting a stun gun on AJZ over the top rope before hitting a running back elbow on the floor.
Yeah.
Whew. I felt Brian Cage was the legal man here, so I don't know. If they wanted,
it doesn't matter
to get back in the ring on this one, they probably could. But that was something I caught. I was like, I'm pretty sure Brian Cage was the legal man in this. But I don't know, man. I want challengers for these titles.
Yes.
We need a trio to come in here and save the day. Save us from these absolute wrecking balls of human beings.
These savages. We do get one part of them, actually being a team. They're taking baby steps into this, Kate. They're like, okay, they weren't together for a while. And we were like, why? Or at least they need to team up. Now they're teaming. So they're going to take baby steps into building to a contender. Because I think it feels like the contender would be Dante, Andrade, as Kevin Kelly was saying, Action Andretti and AR Fox, because of because of what's going on. They're on a bunch of shows being a trios team and everything, but they already beat them. So I don't know if it could be them, you know?
Yeah, I think you could probably build out a creative way to run it back if you wanted, but it does feel a little bit off here. I do feel like maybe we finally settled into that being a trio, and then when Dante comes back, it'll be an issue, right? Somebody will get bounced out, probably extra Andretti. But it does feel like we're taking baby steps, right? We saw our tag champions on television, but they weren't defending the titles, like things like that. But like, I'm ready for that leap. I'm ready to move on from baby steps. The toddler's walking. We have Collision up and running. Hopefully we get some clarity around this. I'm being patient for kind of like through Forbidden Door, and then I want to really get on some.
Let's ramp it up.
But I'm with you. Any thoughts on this match in particular? This was kind of what I think we've come to expect from the embassy.
Yeah, they just been kind of doing this for the return of the embassy and these programs. It's fun to see them destroy guys, but yeah, we want to see some contenders. We want to see somebody giving them a fight, because it's just like, oh, it's the embassy squash of the week. It's like, all right, you guys, we get it. Like, what's next?
Yeah, I agree. The Pro Wrestling Podcast giving us $1. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it. That's a top dollar if I've ever seen one. See what I did there? You know, selling son of a bitch. I'm sitting next to Sting over here. You can't sell any of my jokes.
Not that one.
We get Dalton Castle versus Josh Woods.
This is tight.
This was really, really good. I loved this. I think Josh Woods is going to be one of those people that, like, you might see on Collision.
Yes.
I think they might be due to kind of move up. Like, I think there's probably bigger things in store. I don't think people who were not familiar with the era of Ring of Honor right before it shut down are maybe as familiar with Josh Woods, and you have not scratched the surface about what this guy can do. Right. He is fantastic. We got a little taste of it here. This was a really, really fun match, but he's like one of those next level in ring guys, and you're going to get to see him break out really soon. I hope. But
yeah,
we get Castle catching Woods on a leapfrog and hitting the bang-a-ring for the win. Some real fun stuff in here. Woods escaping the bang-a-ring with the help of Sterling and hitting that gut-wrench suplex with the charging knee for the near fall was my favorite spot in the meat of this. But this was really fun. This was kind of like not only a collision of styles, but collision of personalities, right? Like anytime Dalton Castle's around, you know you're going to have a good time. Josh Woods in this kind of more flamboyant tag team in a way, but like he's kind of the super serious wrestler's wrestler in this. I thought this was a whole heck of a lot of fun. I don't know where it's going, but this was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, this tells me a good story, because I want to see more singles Dalton Castle, which we get here. And then Josh Woods just needs to be more prominent. And I think he can, exactly like you said, play such a great role on Collision. I think for so many guys, like, just like we need a good match on Saturday. Who's going to be in there? Who's big? Who looks good? Who has great suplexes? Who has all these things? I think that's Josh Woods. I think he could be a contender for many championships. And I think he's one of the most underrated, the guys that they have down there. So hopefully they do something with Josh Woods. But also on the other end of that, Dalton Castle, we talked about many times, could be Ring of Honor world champion again. Like, he's still that charismatic guy we've been knowing for years and years and years. That was always on the cusp. That was always like just right there of being one of those guys. And I think he can have a run over here, you know, as a contender for Samoa Joe, also for the television champion. I think would be some very entertaining stuff.
I agree. Dalton going after TV title always feels right. That's a fun call. And I agree. Like, he's really good. And he's not someone he doesn't have a personality as a gimmick to compensate for the fact that he can't wrestle. Like, he can go. Yeah. He's a good wrestler. So love
he
that.
He might have been one of those, like, ahead of his time, because when he was going crazy in Ring of Honor, there was like a little, like, people weren't exactly connected with Ring of Honor the way that they should be. And I think, like, if he had came like 3 or 4 years later with that act on the indies and everything, he'd be even bigger than he is now.
I agree, though. I will say the couple times I've seen him live on AEW, he's gotten huge pops. Like
Yes.
it made me really happy because I didn't know. And like at Grand Slam of all places too, I was like, I don't know if people are gonna like that environment is gonna be so excited for Dalton Castle, but they really were. So that made me super, super happy. I loved that.
He's good.
He's real good. He's real good at this storytelling thing and wrestling thing. But we move along to the Infantry. I was so excited about what happened after this match. Oh my god. The Infantry the Kingdom. We had seen they played it on this episode. We had said they should have played it on the last episode.
Yeah.
They played it on this episode, the setup where they were trying to mess with Stokely, which I thought was fun. I'm glad they played it here, but a good match with Bravo fighting out of the corner, hitting a scissors kick on Bennett, and then Dean hitting a big splash for the near fall. I popped because somebody in the crowd yelled FMJF, and as you know, that is a very important part of my legacy in pro wrestling, is pointing out that Sean Dean is 2-0 against FMJF. Yep, 100%. So that pops me a great deal. And then after this, Trish Adora comes out to remove Maria. And I love the idea of her in the Infantry. And it just, even just the one kind of pull away shot we got of the three of them, I was like, oh, this feels perfect. Like, this is great, such a natural, badass fit. I'm so in on this. What were your thoughts on the match? And what do you think about Trish Adora and the Infantry here?
Yes. I love so much about this. The videos that they played with Stokely of last week, of both of them being like, you heard what they said about you, right? Like, they said you were this and they said you were this, and Stokely being mad at everybody. And then at the end, when Maria whispers in his ear and he's like, what you say? Just great. I loved it. Everything about it. So perfect. And then the match, I love that they've been telling this story. This has been another one of the stories alongside the story with the Righteous and the Dark Order are telling. That's been going on for a while. The Kingdom has been telling the story of they are the uncrowned Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. They're tired of getting disrespected. They're tired of all these things. Infantry has been coming up, being one of those tag teams that since the beginning of this Ring of Honor on, in this format, they've been one of the tag teams that have been up and coming that we've been excited about. And so it's been great story that they've been telling. Them adding Trish is just like, I don't know. Earlier in her match, she kind of did like the turnaround salute to the crowd. And I was like, that's very interesting. And then for her to end up with the Infantry is just like, oh, okay. Now that makes a lot of sense. And that shot that they had them pull it back all together was just like, they look great. This is perfect. Such a great combination of people. I'm glad whoever came up with this idea was like, just a great idea.
Me too. And I also really like Trish working face. Like, yes. I don't know if it's just because I want to root for her so much because I think she's so great, but I like her being on the babyface side of things. Like,
me too.
It fits with her persona, I think.
She did the heel thing like a couple of, remember that there was like 1 or 2 episodes where it felt like she might have been going heel, and that was cool. But yeah, I think the babyface thing just works a lot better on her.
Yeah, I think if you want like the idea of the integrity of the military and stuff to carry over, you should play by the rules in your matches and stuff. But yeah, I think they were trying to build up to her and Willow, and she's got to be on the heel side for that.
Yeah.
But this face version of her, I feel like has really unlocked something. Like, this is a really, really fun way to go about it. And I love her being in the Infantry. I think that's a really cool way. I also just am a sucker for mixed stables like that. Like, I like it when girls and boys hang out in stables. Totally. I love that.
It's cool.
I want Leila Hirsch in assuming
Blackpool
Serena
Combat
Deeb
Club.
is like MIA, I would love her in Blackpool Combat Club. Though she should have been on Team Taz, because as I once accidentally called her when I forgot her name, she's Little Lady Taz.
Little Lady Taz.
That's what she is to me. She gives such, it's giving Taz, as the white girl say.
Taz.
We move along to a tag match that was more fun than I thought it was going to be, honestly. I don't know why my expectations weren't high, but Big Bill and Lee Moriarty versus Blake Christian and Matt Sydal. We got Big Bill and Lee defeating them with the East River Crossing on Blake, which looked great. Big Bill's kind of coming alive in this stage of his career.
Telling you.
I like it. It makes me happy.
I don't know what it is.
kind of felt like generic big dude number 4 for a while, but like his personality's really shining through lately, and I love to see it. This match was a lot of fun. Like all 4 of these guys can go. I think because Blake Christian and Sydal are kind of tossed together. I didn't know what to expect, but I had a blast with this. And Big Bill standing out because of his size and style in comparison to the other 3. Just it was a nice like pace changer in this. What do you think of our little tag match we got going here?
Yeah, every week, Big Bill's just growing a lot more on me. It was like, I mean, his old tag team partner, I think, played a big role as well. I was always like, I'm not really interested in this guy. But when he joined, shout out to our post show with Joel and Cresta friends, when he joined Impact Wrestling, he really took on a different role. He was like, I'm a big heavyweight. I'm going to beat you fools up. This is what this is. But then when he joined AEW, at first I was like, I don't really know about this guy. I don't really understand the appeal. But the last couple months, he's really gotten into the role of what he should be. A really just badass dude that's going to choke slam you on the apron and then laugh and think that he's the coolest guy in the room, which is great. Like, it's great for his character. You could feel his confidence growing. Like he always, it felt like he used to play confident just because he was next to Enzo and that was like their gimmick. Now he's like, no, this is real confidence. I really will kick your ass. And I'm having a great time with Lee Moriarty. They're a really fun tag team. I think that's what it is. When you said you didn't really expect to like it that much, that's kind of how it's been. It's like, oh, it's a big Bill. But then you like remember that, oh yeah, he's like tapped into a new different thing that is so entertaining, and it just really matches like who he is. He still looks like giant Triple H, but there's some things we can move past. And yeah, this was interesting, like reading the spoilers or whatever about this show and seeing Blake Christian, because he's the GCW World Champion, as people know, and he was booked for the GCW World Championship title match in Los Angeles, and they were like, oh, Blake Christian's not going to be here. And then the reason he's not going to be here is like just for like a 11 p.m. match, Ring of Honor post show in AEW. It's like,
contracts are contracts, man. It's what it is. You're on demand. That's how we roll. But yes, that was a little something. That was a little something. A little petty. I don't mind it. I'll take it. I had fun watching the match, so I've got no complaints about it. But
yeah, tight match though. Matt Sydal having different partners and stuff has been cool, but like, let's lock him in. Let's get Matt Sydal's story. Remember, he just challenged Samoa Joe after he lost a match where he said he was going to challenge Samoa Joe, but he still challenged Samoa Joe. So there's a lot going on with the boy.
He's got a lot of feelings about Samoa Joe in the TV title.
He does.
And can't handle the rejection of it, which is okay. It's okay. We've got the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver with Evil Uno, facing August Matthews and Davey Vega, better known on the indies as the Bang Bros.
Bang Bros.
Didn't seem like they felt the need to say that on TV here, but a fun match nonetheless. Jonathan Silver and Alex Reynolds defeating them with their kind of signature combination that they've been finishing these matches off with. And on the post-match, we get Grayson asking if the Dark Order would ever bleed for him, turning Evil Uno's question against him. And we have Vincent asking the Dark Order if they would bring the same aggression next week that they brought this week. And Reynolds and Silver dropped Bang with more offense, kind of as a response. Man, Vincent shines in these vignettes.
He does.
He's so good at this. And I like Grayson. I like it remaining very personal for Stu Grayson. Like, just because he got one up on the Dark Order doesn't necessarily mean he's all about Vincent and Dutch. Like, this is about him in the Dark Order as much as it is about this kind of like new faction or whatever, which I really liked. What do you think of our match here, and what do you think of the story that's brewing? This is one of my favorite stories in wrestling that's going on right now. I love this.
Really cool to see the Bang Bros here off rip. This match here would be like on a Beyond Wrestling on Thursday Night Wrestling Open. This match right here specifically with them and Silver and Reynolds is like, yeah, if you're gonna have them here, having them in a match with that is great.
Sure.
Love the extra added aggression of the Dark Order. Reynolds and Silver have been, holding it down for so long. They need a story like this. They need something to latch on to just because of the work that they've been putting in since AEW has started. And this has been a great story that's been being told because I've been locked in because I didn't want to see Stu leave the Dark Order at first. But now with the stories they're telling and him being like, I don't know if you guys even really cared about me as much as you guys are leading on. Maybe Vincent is right. Maybe you guys are this. Maybe I should have been watching, having my own back this whole time. And it's just been a really dope story to tell. I'm really excited to see kind of where they end. Looks like they're going towards a fight without honor. It's going to get very bloody. Is Stu going to stay with the righteous? Is he going to go back to Dark Order? Is he going to leave everybody? It's just a really fun story that they're telling.
Yeah, you could go in any of those three directions, and I don't think it's the wrong call, which is to me a sign of a great story. Like when you can go with either outcome and it feels like a possibility and a natural one. Oh, I love that. That's really, really well done. It hurts my heart. This one hurts my heart, but it's well
sad, but,
done. It's well done.
Got to tell the story. Stu's back and he's back in full force. So I hope to see him go for some gold after all this kind of plays out.
I agree. I feel like for me, weirdly, like the desired outcome might be that he goes out on his own. Like I really feel like he has the makings to be a single star, and it's not like it hurts to be in a tag team or a trio, but like he's such a complete wrestler that I want to see him challenging for singles titles. Like I believe in him that much. I said before he came back, like he could be an ROH world champion. Him versus Claudio?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy. That's a crazy match right there. Them going like 25 minutes and just at the end, they're just firing off on each other. Gold.
Oh, definitely. Would tear down. Even if he lost, if he was getting singles wins and like felt like a new man being out on his own, I would take it. I would take it. So we move along to not my favorite thing in the night. We've got Lexi backstage with Diamante, and Smart Mark comes in and offers Diamante half of the winner's purse. Well, 49% of the winner's purse. He's got to have a controlling stake in it. And Diamante rejects the offer. We get to our match of Leila Grey defeating Diamante, and I don't really like it. Sterling distracts. Such shenanigans, which is not very ROH of them, but Sterling distracting Diamante, and Diamante wisely stomps on his hand, but Grey catches Diamante with the roll-up with her legs on the ropes. My issue with this is more that whilst Leila Grey is a baddie, she is not, to me, at the caliber necessarily of the people that Diamante beat to get to this point.
Yes,
to have the little streak that she was on get snapped by this. I understand that in some ways that's kind of the point, but like when there is an in-ring disparity because the ROH division is so strong, like the match didn't fully click in for me, and for like Diamante to beat Trish Adora, who I feel like is being positioned much higher.
And then to this.
It feels like a bit of a drop down, but it was supposed to be a sneaky win, which I appreciate. Like this was not Leila Grey beating Diamante. This was one pulling one over on her. But it wasn't my favorite way to go. Diamante does want her revenge after this. We get a promo that suggests there's going to be a return shot, so I'm guessing Diamante gets the better of her in that world. But this wasn't my favorite thing of the night, but there were 18 things tonight or whatever, so
you don't like that? Here's 5 other things you might like.
Exactly. We've got 2 back-to-back that I really love, so how about that? What did you think of the match? What do you think of the little story that is kind of brewing out of this?
Yeah, I think for the trajectory that they had Diamante on, I don't know if Leila Grey's the one to kind of come and be the roadblock right now. You want to start building more people with wins, and I think you just needed to give Diamante a couple. And Leila Grey wasn't the one to be like, well, Leila Grey's going to come and screw this up, because Diamante's just a little step above. She's on a different level. She's been going at this for a while. So I don't know. I mean, at worst, we're getting another story being told. So I guess we can't really be that mad. You know, they're adding some kind of stake, some kind of something to what's going on. So it's not just matches going on, they're like, okay, then the next one's going to have some kind of something because there's something to get attached to. So I can enjoy that part of it.
Agreed. And it does seem like there on this episode was a concerted effort to get some more stories going.
Yeah.
Like, I think Gringo and Willie Mack is a story. I think this is a story. So I appreciate that it's a little bit less of like one-off city because that was getting old. Yeah. But we'll see what settles in with the foundation here. If Diamante is going to be working face, her eventually getting to Athena, probably for a loss based on what we heard and saw tonight.
Who's gonna beat her? I guess we'll talk about it, Kate. But
I know I'm so excited. We can't skip ahead, but like I want to skip ahead, but we can't skip ahead. But this is perfectly suitable. I guess I'm looking forward to seeing Diamante work her way up the card for so many months, like really, really kind of earning the spot on the roster and having some direction. So, so yeah. So we will move along, but we won't move along before reminding you guys to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Please do so. There's so much great news in the wings coming out for you guys. There's all these bonus podcasts, including yours truly and Alex Pulowski doing pay-per-view post shows for virtually every post show that we're not on the main channel for, which is pretty much anything outside of NXT, as well as Ask Rhapsody twice a month, as well as the list and your boy goes on. Some continuation shows back there. A lot of really, really good additional content, a lot of high value add content that we throw in there for you guys, in addition to all the scoopskis you could ever ask for. So head over to FightfulSelect.com. It's how we get paid. So when you see people being dorks of, why would I pay for wrestling news? Because you're paying for all of our hard work, darn it.
Yes. Oh, so annoying when they say that. I could just wait till it tweeted on the timeline. Yeah,
well, then wait. Like, how are you complaining about the fact that you find out about it for free anyway? Like, I don't know.
Spend your $5 on Fightful Select. Get the news directly from where you need it from.
Yeah, because you're gonna want it to be accurate. Because these little aggregates running around, they don't always get it right. Some of them do.
Some of them do. A lot of them.
Some of them don't. We're shooting on wrestling media. No, we're not. We're not. But we do appreciate every single one of you subscribers. And we do appreciate you guys leaving thumbs up on this video to help people find us in the algorithm. And also, I know Sean's posted more stuff for YouTube subscribers specifically. We hadn't really built that out. Like, you kind of subscribe just to get notifications and find out when things were coming up. But he's working on adding some unreleased interview content that was never supposed to be released, so I'm sure that'll be entertaining. And some other like behind the scenes stuff and some forgotten footage. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will get all of that and more, as well as the little bell for notifications, because who the hell knows when the ROH post show is going to start. It might be a 45-minute episode.
I need to know notification myself, because at this point I'm like, how long is the show going to be, Tony Khan? What are you doing to us?
What are you doing to us? What was funny was the 19-match marathon was about 3 hours, and this was 13 matches and 2:35. Yeah. So I was like, oh, these were longer matches then, because it felt like, I was like an extra 6 matches for 25 minutes of time.
19 matches is crazy, Tony Khan. Stop it.
That was wild. That was wild. They just didn't want to cut anybody's matches, which I respect. It's like everybody went to the studio. Everybody worked their ass off for 2 days for tapings. They didn't want to cut anything, but it was a long night, but not for you, because you were the media man schmoozing with everyone and hanging out with Willow and wearing your press pass.
But it's like you guys we're watching it on Watch ROH. Just have another section where it's like, here's the leftover matches. You guys can watch these too.
Do a 0 hour to the next week's episode.
Seriously.
Beautiful. Well, we move along to our pure match, which I had a lot of fun with. Daniel Garcia and Rocky Romero. I can't state strongly enough how great Rocky Romero is at way too many aspects of being in professional wrestling. Like, he's real good at this, guys. So good. Including this pure match, which was a whole heck of a lot of fun. I loved the finish on this. Garcia going to the ropes and rolling over the top to transition into this armbar into the Dragon Tamer sequence was beautiful. And you got Rocky trying to escape out of the ring, but Garcia holding on through the ropes. I love when people hold on through the ropes. It just looks so brutal and nasty. Mm-hmm. He gets the submission for the win. A lot of fun to be had here. I loved the story that was being told. I loved that both of them were out of rope breaks. It just made it feel very competitive. And I love Garcia trying to like send a message to Shibata with the Pele kick, but Rocky catching it and being like, not today, buddy. I loved all of that. Let's talk about that, and then we'll get into the post-match a little bit because we got a nice little run in from OC after this. But I love pure matches, man. I do, and I love when heels use things to their advantage, and we got a little bit of that here tonight. What do you think?
I'm excited that Daniel Garcia is back in the pure division. I know it's kind of been focused on. Seems like the division is just him and Shibata, and Wheeler Yuta at least is gone for the time being for now. But I'm sure, like at the end of the Death Before Dishonor, he'll show up to defend to take on the next challenger or whatever, or something like that. But yeah, Daniel Garcia has been looking really awesome. The way that he is in pure matches, still adding in the sports entertainment aspect with the dance and the pants and being Daniel Garcia. And yeah, just like you said, Rocky Romero, you can kind of slot him in any spot. We see him with the best friends over here in 4-ways and 8-mans, and then we see him over here in Ring of Honor and singles matches with Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia doing this pure thing. He could be getting a title shot against the pure champion too one day. Has been great. So Daniel Garcia has been kind of on Shibata's ass in a couple of different ways, trying to get his pure championship. He's over here at Forbidden Door in a match with him and Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. He's kind of being, he's trying to show Shibata that he wants to be the next pure champion. And it looks like he might be. But yeah, what's up with Orange Cassidy? He just keeps randomly. He's the most random AEW showing up on Ring of Honor wrestler there is. He's done this a few times where he's just like, I was back there. I'm going to come and stare down with you.
Well, this at least was more intentional. He's facing these guys. So we do have Garcia kind of faking the Code of Honor handshake before trying to get the walls locked in again. And Orange Cassidy makes his way out to a really big pop, by the way, to save his best friend, which I thought was sweet. That's a nice thing to do, Orange Cassidy. And he runs off Garcia. I'm so intrigued by this 4-way because I feel like I thought when it was going to be just him and Zack Sabre Jr., there was a shot Zack Sabre Jr. might win because it's an international title. Like it would make sense if it left the hands of AEW and the United States. And Zack Sabre Jr. walking around with 2 belts.
International.
Ridiculous idea in a delightful way. It would feel like a big payoff loss for Orange Cassidy.
Right.
But now that it's a 4-pack, I almost feel like he comes out of this retaining. Doesn't matter with Zack Sabre Jr. Maybe Shibata and Daniel Garcia end up feuding one-on-one again after this for this very pure title that we're talking about. And I don't hate that booking. I'm not a big Fatal 4-way gal. Like, it's not my favorite type of match. But that's a clean way to have a story unfold. I still want to circle back to the TV title feud between Zack Sabre Jr. and Samoa Joe because it's been built beautifully. I hope they return to it because it's been such a fun build. But what did you think of the match that we got tonight? And with all of that we had happen here, what do you feel like this is going to lead to going into Forbidden Door?
I'm thinking the same thing that you're thinking. Orange Cassidy having a 4-way match is the best way for him to sneak one out, edge one out, because I think the way that Orange Cassidy has been being built, the way that his reign has been going, him losing it in a 4-way just wasn't. That's not really the way you want to put an end to that reign. Kind of a weird way to finish it off. And yeah, a lot of people were interested in it being a one-on-one match with him and Zack Sabre Jr. But I think, it sucks. But, when it's a big show like this, you got to have a couple of these big multi-people matches just because you want to get as many people on the card as you can. Be so much better if it was more one-on-ones though. But we are also complaining about watching 13 match Ring of Honor shows. So, get what you can get.
It's a very good point. And I feel like the international title legacy on Forbidden Door being a 4-way year after year is actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, right.
And I also feel like most people were rooting for Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson, so it's not like you're losing anything really. Like, I think that's the match most people are pointing to, hopefully at Wembley or some point. That's got to be the move. So I don't feel like it's a waste of him. And I think if you're having Garcia and Shibata here be in their own feud, that's a perfectly fair 4-pack. And I also find it interesting because the story with Orange Cassidy really seems to have pivoted to he's getting banged up in this title run, and him being in a 4-pack, like he could be really, really banged up and then have to face Miro on Collision or something like that, where it's like, man, he was just a little bit too broken to be able to keep it going. And I think that's a really kind of fun end to an Orange Cassidy title reign, whatever that may happen, assuming that he retains. That's a big assumption. So, but I'm with you on that. And I'm also with this little trio, but I want Dante to come back and complete the trio. I'll be honest. No offense to Action Andretti at all, but top flight is Dante and Darius. But this trios match was pretty fun. I really liked a lot of what happened with Darius Martin, AR Fox, and Action Andretti versus Shane Taylor and the Workhorsemen. We get JD Drake slingshotting Fox into Marcus. And what else happens? Into a Marcus Garvey driver is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And he hits a double stomp that was a big double stomp, my friend. Cover gets broken up. We get kind of a Pier 6 brawl out of this. And Henry and Fox are left in the ring. Fox catching Henry with a roll up and a nip up to steal the win. This had a lot of really fun trios action in this. Shane Taylor and the Workhorsemen worked together better than they probably should.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see what happens with this Collision roster after everything shakes out. Like, I don't know if this faction stays together, but it made for a fun enough trios match tonight. Shane Taylor needs some consistent friends. That's all.
Yeah, that's
it. What do you think of our trios match tonight?
Yeah, I want to see the Workhorsemen as a tag team, though. And I think, like we've been talking about for multiple weeks on him here, them being on Collision, I think would be a big move. I love Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and AR Fox. I think you're thinking about the wrong guy is going to get replaced when Dante comes back. I think it's going to be AR Fox is going to be the one that's going to be somewhere else. Yeah, it's going to stay the 6-man top flight. He's just going to be a new member, I think, going forward. Moving on here. So that should be a super interesting things going on when Dante does come back. But right now, though, I'm loving what they're doing. They just had a really big match on Dynamite 2. They're getting some reps on all the shows, and they're a really fun team. AR Fox being in recently with Chris Jericho and Suzuki. It's just so awesome to see him from where he was to where he is now, being in big matches like that. Still being exactly the AR Fox, so exciting. The way that he strings together moves is like no other. The way that he flips, low main pain, everything that he does is just so cool. One of my favorite wrestlers in the world. So I love this trio, and I love that they're doing these trios matches every single week on Ring of Honor.
AR Fox kind of has a similar vibe that Swerve does to me, and that the athleticism and the high flying stuff is incredible, but it's like it's mixed in with such a strong wrestling foundation that whenever anyone calls him a high flyer, and less about Swerve but more about AR Fox, I'm like, I don't really view them as a high flyer.
He's not really a high flyer. He does high flying for sure, but
just like, nah, you're just super athletic and cool. So I am with you, but let's get to the thing that everybody wants to talk about. And I know that because we've got chats about it waiting for us before we dive in. We got a Chicago street fight between Athena and Kira Hogan, who might have to change her last name to Respectfully. Honest to God, that woman.
Respectfully.
Dear Lord.
You coming out like that to do this? Wow.
I know. I was like, all right. You are going to make some people very happy with what happens aesthetically in this match. But this was a hell of a match. They beat the dog shit out of each other. We got some chats that are piling up in here. Matt Reichel saying, Kate and Red, you guys are awesome. Have fun in Toronto. Kate, thank you so much, Matt. God, I'm hoping Billy Starks is Athena's next feud, ROH and Collision for me in July. Man, I'm very intrigued to see what happens there. We're going to talk about the 0 Hour. I'm going to pick Reg's brain a little bit about Forbidden Door before we get out of here, since the Impact crew is not on the other side of this. But we do get to see Athena on the 0 Hour Forbidden Door.
Yep.
This isn't the strongest situation for the women under the AEW umbrella overall, but there were a lot of circumstances that came into play here. And we do get a really great match with Willow and Toni Storm. This wasn't the crossover that I think people might have been looking for, but it sounds like there were a lot of complications and that there were efforts made. So you can only control circumstances so much in that regard. But what are you thinking about Billy and Athena? I feel like for me, Billy is like a stronger version of what I mean, the Sky Blue and Athena match ended up being great, but Billy has that same like underdog charm with like a little bit more punch to her, in my opinion, that I'm a little bit more invested in where this might go. The woman just graduated high school. My God. I think valedictorian. Yeah. But I'm very intrigued to see where that goes. What are your thoughts on that?
Super excited about this. When they announced these brackets and seeing Billy's name on there was one of the coolest things about it. Billy is such a strong wrestler, even only being 18 years old, even just graduating from high school. She can do things that she has so much experience already. She's been to Japan. She's insane. She's a nut. She watches backyard wrestling and tries to recreate spots that no one should do. She still does them.
Young lady.
She's nuts. She's 18.
Young lady, if you are watching, you take care. You've got a long career ahead of you. And it's 10 of 11. You need to get to bed. Okay.
She don't care about none of that, Kate. She don't care about none of that. She's going to see some wild backyard wrestling spot and try it. But yeah, no, this is cool. I think exactly what you're saying. The way that Sky Blue got the emotions and the way that she worked with Athena, I think that Billy Starks can do that tenfold, even better. This match is going to be great. I mean, thinking back, I want to go back a year, run a time machine to Billy Starks a year ago and be like, hey, next year, this big show, you're going to be on it against Athena. What? That's crazy. That's insane.
Nobody would believe that. She's like, I just got my driver's license.
Yeah, she's like, what? Yeah. Are you talking to me? But so cool. We wanted to see Athena on the card too. So, you know, her being here, even though it's only the 0 Hour, still in the card, still going to be a part of this big show in front of that great crowd in Canada. It's going to be great.
Man, some of the 0 Hours where they put like real matches on it and it's not like a one-off and Renee and RJ City being silly, which I also love. But some of the 0 Hours have been real good. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what we get out of that. But some more love and chat from you guys. Jester Design saying, if Athena isn't the base fight forever, she better be in the first downloadable characters because I miss beating asses with the O-Face and the Eclipse. Athena, top 5 wrestlers right now, if not top 3. I kind of had this realization earlier today. I was like, man, my favorite title reigns currently are Athena, Zack Sabre Jr., and Orange Cassidy, and they have a commonality in that they defend all the time.
All the time.
And I love that. And I realized, like, wow, that's such an importance. And you're already seeing it, like, even on Raw with Seth Rollins. It's like, oh my God, it feels important again to watch Raw, at least for one of the hours in Raw. It feels important to watch. But the frequent defenses, I think you're seeing a little bit of rejuvenation in the Chris Statlander reign too, just because she's like very visibly defending a bunch. I think it's good to have defending champions, especially when you're offset by, in Athena's case, a male champion who's not there, tag champions who aren't there. It's the most important thing on the show, and that's a really cool thing for a women's wrestler to have. But yeah, she's got to be in the video game. Reg, do you know anything about that, as you are also in the video game?
Athena, I have no idea. I don't know anything. I don't know. I don't know anything about the roster.
I just wanted to put you over.
That's just a flex. Yeah. I'm in the video game too, so find it out. I'm there.
Oh, if you could play Reg in the video game.
Oh man, wouldn't that be cool?
Just like this little guy smoking in the corner. It'd be so much fun.
Please pass me in. My friend works there. Can I get in the game?
I feel like you should. Matthew Hook saying, so Billy, the next chance, Forbidden Door match lead to more. I would love to see this turn into a feud. I don't think it should be the person that dethrones Athena, probably, but I would love this to be like a 2 or 3 match feud back and forth. Get another story in there before Athena drops at some point. But are you hoping just for one really badass match, or are you hoping for maybe a return shot in there somewhere?
Yeah, for right now, I'm just like, let's kick ass on Sunday. Like, big moment. They're a part of this really cool tournament. We don't know anything that's going to happen. Just like, let these ladies go out there and tear it up.
And tear it up. They did tonight. Chris Mueller saying Athena rules, Kira rules, women's wrestling rules. All three
This
of those
match.
things are true. My God. I'll turn it over to you for the most part, but both of the table spots, the power bombs going through it. Kira Hogan looked like she was fighting for her life out there. Like, she was so great. Athena pandering to the crowd in really just like vicious ways and then laughing at them with stuff like, my God, they beat the hell out of each other. They did Chicago proud in this street fight. Give me your thoughts on this, and then we'll talk about what commentary said as we were leaving in the post-match promo that we got from Athena, because this is an interesting one.
Yeah, this was so strong. Kira looked so great. Athena is the MVP. The way that they structured the match, the way the pace that they paced the match, this felt like a really big time match. They had a lot of time out there. They didn't rush anything. This match, Kate, was the last match again for Athena, the last match of the whole show, of the whole 6-hour whatever taping that they have to be at. The last match, and you heard the crowd. There was points that they were hot for this. When they did that suplex onto the 1,000 chairs spot, crowd was going crazy. That was also very disgusting. I hope everybody's okay. Kira hit very hard on that thing. Jeez Louise.
I loved Caprice saying that, like, usually you know when somebody pulls out furniture what they're setting up for. The drama he created by saying, like, I'm a wrestler and I don't even know what they're setting up for. Oh my God, what like a value add line on commentary, because I didn't know either. I was like, this looks like a damn cheerleading pyramid of chairs. Like, what's happening over here?
That and was then do a big suplex, and they both like, and everybody knows in a suplex, like, you're both gonna hit, so it's not like Athena got one over on it. No, you got destroyed too in this whole thing. And the way that she gave Kira so much in the match, it didn't look like Athena was dominating at any point. It was like, no, she's fighting for her life. She's really trying to win so she can get out of here and stop getting hit with ladders and chairs and kendo sticks. Just a really great performance from both of them to be able to go out there in the main event, bring this crowd back that's tired as hell. With the great match, the thumbtack spots just buried in Athena's arm, and it's just blood squirting out, and her showing that I'm the baddest champ there is. I'll take on any contender in any match, and I'm gonna destroy whoever is in my way. She's the MVP. This was awesome. Please go and watch this. They got a long time. They focused on everything. Great performance from both. I just was so blown away.
I feel like the intensity of Kira Hogan is such a like difference maker in the way it sets her apart. Her dives to the outside, like this whole match. She had a couple of them that I was like, my God, she's just throwing every ounce of everything she has at this.
When she tried to dive on Athena on the ladder, and Athena moved, and she just like destroyed herself from the ladder. It's like, whew.
I think I like audibly said to myself, I was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah,
it was like there were a few of those where I was like, like careful." Yeah. This was so fun, but as this match ends with Athena winning, I mean, just a knockdown, drag out fight here. Ian Riccaboni said something that I thought was very interesting in who he said, and very interesting in who he omitted. He said he doesn't know if there's anyone in Ring of Honor. He doesn't know if there's anyone in AEW. He doesn't know if there's anyone really in general that we've seen that is there to dethrone Athena. which of course sends your mind spiraling to Mercedes or Trinity or whoever. But it feels like, and I love it because I think it's a testament to the work that she's built. Like, it's someone from the outside who has to come in. Now, he didn't say Impact. And Jordan Grace is out there. Trinity signed a 6-month, and that'll probably be up sooner than later. They have a pretty open working relationship. Mercedes is obviously the biggest name floating around out there. I just thought that was interesting. And then we got this post-match promo from Athena that said, where's all the support for what I'm doing? Because I'm having basically an unprecedented reign. She basically said in heel fashion what is true of this is a world-class title reign. Where is everybody? Why aren't they supporting me? Where's the locker room on this
Where's
one?
the kittens?
Where's the kittens? Where's the green sour jelly beans? Was it? I can't remember what the candy was. She's asking for her whiskey out there too. She wants her flowers. And nobody in the locker room seems to like her for some reason after she murdered Kira Hogan.
Yeah.
I loved that. But it definitely feels like they're treating this reign, though it's on a streaming service product, the way that we feel like it should be treated.
Yes.
Which that makes me really happy, because this to me feels like a top title reign in women's wrestling history. And it feels like whoever's going to come take it from her is going to have that same prestige and energy around it, which it just warms my little Marky heart to think that could be the case. I thought that was a really interesting comment from Ian, because he doesn't really make those without intention behind them in some sort of way. Do you feel like there might be a free agent coming in to take it from her?
Possibly, but I do also like what Athena said in the promo, because she was like, at the end of it, she's like, Lexi, tell the women in the locker room, which she's still saying, if there's somebody back there that think they can beat me, step up. So Ian told a good story by being like, it could potentially be somebody from anywhere, but then her coming in and being like, I'll still take on anybody who's back there also if they want this, was really cool too, of her being like, I'm the champ here. Send any contender. I'm just going to beat them up. It's not anything to me. I'm having a good time at this point. Just great storytelling from the commentators and from her and from Lexi and from everybody.
Agreed. And a really, really, really fun note to go home on. Like, this was just an absolute blast. They beat the hell out of each other. It felt like a street fight. Like, it was really fun. I always feel like the good mark of a street fight is if things like the chairs and the tables feel like instruments in the fight versus the story of the fight. And it just felt like they were weapons being used to tell the story of them beating the crap out of each other, rather than like, oh my God, a chair spot. Like, that's
we want tables. Like, no, it's like, you're going to get tables so we can slam you through it instead of
the new chant. These table chants. The worst. Well, that was our show. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to ask you about Forbidden Door. If you had any fun predictions or anything, or things that you think we might see, what you're looking forward to the most. I've actually really, really liked this build a lot. I think there's some stories that people might be missing. But what are your thoughts overall on what we're getting going into Forbidden Door, and what are you most excited about?
I thought the last two endings of Dynamite have been really strong as to what we're going to do the last week with Kenny and Takeshita and Will Ospreay. Very strong. This week with Bryan and Okada. Those are the matches we're all looking forward to. We know that they're going to knock them out of the park. They're going to be crazy. But honestly, with the announcement yesterday, my most fun match of the weekend might not even be a part of Forbidden Door. It might be a part of Collision with my friend Swerve Strickland taking on Tanahashi in a match. I can't even. What is?
Hey guys.
Aussie Open's in the house. What up?
Righteous Reg.
Get out of here, Sean.
I'm not Sean. In fact, I am an advertiser here on Fightful. I bought advertising time from Kate. And I'm definitely not Sean, as is tradition. When people buy ad time, we just get our background to look exactly like Sean Ross Saps. But oi, mate, I am an actual kangaroo. Among the things that I am here to do is to put over Fightful Select. One thing I am not here to do is to fuck spiders. because I am an actual Australian kangaroo. Here's my Joey right here. Yeah, I'm going to put it, hold on. I'm going to go right in my pouch right there.
Crushed it.
Fightfulselect.com, best $5 in the business. If you're not subscribed, you should. There are some reports that were out this week that Tommaso Ciampa was supposed to face Seth Rollins in the opening match of Raw, and I've confirmed that's true. But there were a lot of inconsistencies to that because we had reported that Vince McMahon had made that change. That is accurate, and we do have that story on FightfulSelect.com. Yeah.
Yeah, weird you're using we.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, when I pay for Fightful Select, they just make me feel so much like family that it feels like we. That I feel like I have to also pay you money to talk about these ads. But Sean Ross Sapp, the greatest reporter of all time, I feel the need to say that because he wouldn't say it himself ever.
Is there any Fight Forever video game news on this Fightful Select thing, a little kangaroo?
There is, and let me tell you, they threw some D's on that bitch.
Oh,
if you know what I'm saying, especially your name.
Hate you.
So anyway,
righteous red.
Anyway,
musical stylings
over on FightfulSelect.com. There's a pretty juicy story going on right now. But I want to say this. Somebody said, why you block me on Twitter, Reggie? Probably it's because you're an absolute psycho, dude. Maybe that's why it is, because I happen to know who you are. You're the dude who's posted about Sean Ross Sapp about 250 times to the point to where one of our social media managers said, this is a red flag account. He might shoot up your home one day, and sent me a message. Sent Sean a message. Absolutely not me. But, if it were me, a kangaroo, I'd just stand up on my tail and kick him right in the face. That's what I would do, mate. But anyway, Sean Ross Sapp has some pretty juicy information over there on Fightful Select about how things changed and some frustration around that. We got Seahawk. Seahawk took a break. We got Seahawk to breathe for once. Because, let's be real. That man, I can't even say he eats hot dogs because what he does is not eating. Like, Sarah J retired because she saw Seahawk eating a glizzy, and I heard
he was a big fan of that concessions brawl yesterday. All those glizzies on the ground.
Exactly.
He loved it. You
know a lot about wrestling media for an average kangaroo, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a studier. But I'll tell you one thing. I heard that Seahawk had some heat with Taz because he's talking about condiments, and Seahawk was grossed out. Mm-hmm. Seahawk was like, condiments? We go raw. Speaking
of Raw, there are some reports on Fightful Select about the title situation. But Caden Cease asks,
before that, we want to talk about titles. The term "raw dog" came from Seahawk eating hot dogs. Doesn't even cook them. Man, he pulls. I once saw him take out a pocket knife because he's from Texas. He carries a pocket knife.
Of course.
And he just slit open the cons. He at least gets cons. He can appreciate a good wiener. And he just pulled it out. That thing was slimy as hell.
Oh.
And he went like this. He went to where it was vertical. That way, you know what I mean. You get the picture. But anyway, gosh, you've let me go over on my advertising time. FightfulSelect.com.
Yeah, you're going to have to send some more money, kangaroo. Dude,
I
you're
know.
Just going for it.
I'm charging double my rate for the show.
I guess they got to tie me kangaroo down. But anyway, they had news on Jeff Hardy being off TV for a bit. Nova did a rare interview with them. News today on Bryan Danielson. Some stuff is up there. Had the news on Kenta and CM Punk yesterday. Oh, man. I just, I look at what Fightful does and I'm like, I'm glad that you've accepted not just me into your family, but my Joey as well.
Of course we do.
Which, Seahawk sent me an angry message once And he said, well, I don't like anybody named Joey. And I just sit there and think about it. And it's because I named Joey after Joey Chestnut, the world famous hot dog eater. And
Yeah,
why
the
would there
Wizzy
not
Man.
be?
Hey, it's been great having you here, man. Thank you so much for all the kind words.
Yes,
that you said about Fightful Select. Hey,
Later,
if you do
dude.
want to buy ad space, you can email me. I've never been more motivated to get real advertisers in here in my life. So I think, so that we don't have kangaroos coming on here talking about Seahawks, hot dog eating habits. Please, if you have a company or you work for a company that would benefit from exposure here on Fightful, send an email my way. You can DM me on Twitter at Miss Kate Fabe. And oh god, now Joel Pearl's here. What? We're trying to go home, people.
We went home already and we started later than y'all. So what are we doing here? Just because
we had a 2.5-hour show to review. That wasn't
sounds like a Ring of Honor problem. What are we doing?
You're right, Joel. I agree.
making the show go longer doesn't help our cause, Joel.
That sounds like a Ring of Honor problem.
We're gonna have to sit through that on Saturday, Kate.
Privileged.
Damn
to
it.
sit through it, my friend.
What's the over-under on the Ring of Honor tapings on Saturday? What do you think? Are we gonna be there for another 3 hours?
Yes.
Okay, Joel, I'm gonna be seeing live wrestling. You think I give a shit?
See live. I guess I listen. I get to see a lot of live wrestling, but I'm excited. We're gonna have a good time this weekend. Okay,
1 hour before and 2 hours after Collision. Have fun.
Son of a bitch. Thanks, Reg.
Look, the facts are just the facts, Joel.
Okay,
Don't be mad at the facts. Joel, plug some stuff while we're here because we're going to be recording this weekend, and you have the details on it because you booked it. So.
Yes, Kate and I are going to be. Kate and I will have a live show going on Fightful Overbooked, probably around 2:30 on Sunday afternoons. Go check that out. We've booked a space, so we'll be there. Just her and I, but come and watch us. In the Weeds, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays over on Fightful Overbooked as well, and we'll be at Forbidden Door. So maybe we'll show up on the Collision post show as well, just to say how things were. I don't know, but it's going to be a busy weekend. Looking forward to having y'all in Toronto. And if you're here and you want to hang out with us, go ahead and do that. But also give us all your money.
Yeah, mostly that. Like a lot of that. Anything on Impact that you want to share with the good people?
Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly just made the most sexual tensioned tag team I've ever seen in my life.
Well.
They looked at each other. It was, if you're into that, man, just saying.
Some people are going to be checking out Impact. I know that much.
Honestly, otherwise, this week's show wasn't really that great. But that segment, that was it.
The ROH had some good stuff that was worth talking about, which is why we're still going.
Give me one thing, because I probably will go back and watch Ring of Honor this weekend. So what happened? What's one thing?
The Chicago street fight, man. Athena and Kiera Hogan was what it cracked up to be.
I heard that was good.
That's the one.
It was excellent. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. I'm gonna get out of here. I got stuff to edit. So see y'all tomorrow. If you're a women's wrestling fan, Nicole Matthews joins the show at 10:15 Eastern on In the Weeds. She can talk about Girls Next Door, which is another show that Kate and I are going to be attending. So come and hang out with us. I'm out of here. See y'all. Bye.
Peace.
Thank you, Joel. Hey, we're going to get out of here too. That's the plan, right? We were trying to get out of here, and then we got kangaroos and Joel Pearl showing up. We got Canadians and Australians. You didn't ask for this life. Come on now.
International show over here today, Kate. Wow.
It is. Continents apart. But that is kind of our show for today. I'm glad that Joel came in to palate cleanse whatever the hell that kangaroo was doing here, but
Weird.
It's like that Big Daddy movie with Adam Sandler or whatever the hell. But Reg, thanks. This was so much fun. Please plug all of your things. Right
to EO'd. Catch me every Saturday, Graph City Podcast. Philip Lindsay and I, we talk the best in wrestling every week, every Thursday after Ring of Honor. I'm here with Kate. Hopefully it's not 3 hours every week, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you're going to get 20 matches because Tony Khan likes this. Every Wednesday, I'm also on Indeed, Fightful Overbooked with Mike. We're talking all the best independent wrestling. Every other week, I'm on Ask Rhapsody on Fightful Select. on Monday. When does that game come out? Does it come out Monday or Tuesday? The 29th, I think, or whatever. Whenever Fight Forever, the AEW game comes out, my songs are in it. So get it and play it and listen to them and put my songs on your creative character. And let's just all have a good time.
Can you plug which songs they are? Are you allowed to?
Yeah. Brick Phone is on there. Of course, a lot of people have heard Brick Phone. And then like Paige Van Sant's theme, and the stuff we did for the Who We Are album is also on there. So,
oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, sincere congratulations. That is
Thank you.
Like what an awesome moment. I can't imagine how awesome it is to have those two worlds merging together in such a dope way. That's so cool, man.
10-year-old me is like, dude, what?
Right?
What do you mean? How? I'm like, I don't know, dude.
You're like,
we're here.
Know. Life's a wild ride, people.
It is. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Follow Reg at Righteous Reg on Twitter. You can follow me at Miss Kate Fabe. Heading to Toronto for the weekend. Looking very forward to Collision Forbidden Door and Girls Next Door. That should be an absolute blast. You can catch me on Fightful Select on Mondays, the main channel on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, Wednesdays at the Mark Order Pod, and Sundays on Fightful Overbooked with Kate and Joel Call It in the Ring at a special time this weekend because we are going to be recording live, which I'm super excited about. Have a wonderful wrestling weekend. A lot going on this summer in wrestling, and a lot of it's a whole hell of a lot of fun. So enjoy your evening and your weekend. We're out of here.
Peace.